Hi.
Hi. Uh, is this Johan?
It is. It is.
Okay, great.
Let
Great.
me try and up the audio so I can hear you better. I
Okay.
think this is better.
All right.
Hi, Shakir.
Hi, very nice meeting you and seeing you today. Thank you for accepting to do this little interview that I'll be conducting. I'm the director of the festival, and I conduct these interviews with the directors of the films. It it was very nice selecting your film. We kind of felt totally under the charm of it, because for one thing, you decided to speak about the Moroccan community in Netherlands. So we you know we appreciate that, knowing more about the Moroccan community in Netherlands, which we don't know very well here in Morocco. But let me start by asking you, maybe, how did you come up to make a movie about it's about this Moroccan community? And there is it's a romantic comedy, so there is a story, but still,
Yeah.
what choice happened?
Well, it all started with one email from Mina El-Hanawi, and she wrote 6 pages, and those 6 pages are basically still the film that we have today.
Okay.
She said, "This is my life. This is my story." And I wonder, she said, why I never see women like myself on the big screen. I was intrigued. I liked the story. I thought she wrote characters that appealed to everybody. So we started to work together.
Okay, so you co-wrote this script with Mina El-Halawi?
Mina started writing, then a Dutch writer, Alif Kabelsma, was added. So they worked together on the dialogues and on the structure. And even on set, I'm an experienced director, and this is Mina's debut as a feature film director, but we share a director's credit. She was by my side every step of the way.
Oh, okay. Okay, so you decided to collaborate all the way from the
All the
beginning.
way, yes.
And,
Yeah.
And when you say she said this is my life, meaning this story portrays something close to her experience.
Well, she said how she had to she's at the age now that she no longer has to defend herself for not marrying at an early age, and she said in Moroccan tradition, if you're not married by the age of 30, some people will call you Meskina.
Well, they stop telling you you should get married, and you understand that you're over the board.
yeah, you're past the date, and it's the same for girls who all over Europe, of course. It's just the age differs. Some people will start complaining at 21, others start hearing this at the age of 40. But for a woman, it's never easy. She always has to make the choice: will I go for kids or a career?
Yeah, it's really really a tough decision, I suppose, in Europe, but also here in Morocco. We're starting now to have this phenomenon where we see a lot of women above 30 years old who are not married, and not even thinking about marriage. It's a bit like Europe, but
Yeah.
but
And the fun thing is the whole society has to adjust to their choices and their rightful choices, and that's good ground for comedy.
yeah, exactly, yeah. But So you knew her as a person. You not as the community. Did you know the community, the Moroccan community? Or?
No, I had very few Dutch Moroccan friends. So it was really Mina who was able to always, I call it a cultural translation, explaining why you do certain things. And I myself come from a small town on the east border of Holland, very close to the German border. And in my town, there are so many things that are the same with the Moroccan community. Like in my small town, people will it's not the individual that matters, it's the group that matters. So if you want something that might harm the group or is not beneficial for your family, your instincts are to take it easy, to step away. And the other, and there were more common grounds with Moroccan community, like.
And this is something you discovered doing the film, or you knew about it and then
we discovered all this during the writing. We talked so much about why people do the things they do, and me not being Moroccan, I had to know all these things and understand what drives the characters before we could make the movie. And because you are also making choices, writing choices as a director. To be, yes. And the story is a romantic comedy. Why did you choose to tell a romantic comedy and comedy also too? Because all these things could be also made in some kind of drama, and but you chose to. I always say drama is easy, comedy is hard. And that is because, if you make something a drama and you add serious music and you let the actors cry a lot, well, of course, it will go to our heart. But if you can tell the same story with some jokes, lighthearted, with a happy ending, as an audience, I personally get so much more out of it. And the fun thing with romantic comedies is that they tell us so much about the time in which we live. The way we deal with love, the way we deal with family, the things in the way friends support us in our choices, and all that can be put in a comedy. And a romantic comedy that you make today is totally different than the one you would make 5 years from now, because the way we do these things, they change.
As a matter of fact, if one looks at romantic comedies over the years, you see very big changes. But the nice thing also maybe about romantic comedy, and this is something as I perceived it as a Moroccan, and maybe with the Moroccan audience, is that romantic comedy, to really stay romantic, you kind of you don't fall into nudity, don't fall into a lot of these things that hard sex or whatever, because you want to keep it romantic. You want maybe the feelings need to be there all the time, and nothing else that should distract. And that goes well with the culture here, where they're not used people to see on screen, or they don't, they'd rather not see it on screen. Some scenes, some specific scenes. So it was very interesting because we had feelings, we had discussions, we had a lot of colors, we had music in this film, and it's it what makes, I think, any romantic comedy, the ingredients to succeed in any, but also to succeed in a Moroccan romantic comedy, which deals mainly with basically getting married. It's I think you had two big scenes of marriage scenes and they took it's a big chunk of the movie. Those scenes about the wedding and how colorful it is, and the music and everything that goes with it. You also shot some parts in Morocco in town. I was surprised to see some Moroccan actors in your movie.
Roja plays a wonderful part as the grandmother.
Exactly. she's very famous in Morocco, you know.
And I understand why, because she's smart and funny, and she really delivers.
Yeah. It was this movie is a romantic comedy where you also maybe I don't know if it's intended or not, but somehow I think you're tackling also the integration problem. You know how today these people from Netherlands, in fact, they're originally from Morocco, and they still have very strong ties. But you're already putting a lot of symbols, a lot of signals to show that these people are totally integrated in the Dutch society. And is that your intent?
We live in interesting times, because 20 years ago there were very traditional Dutch people who say that everybody who migrates to our country should integrate. They should become just like any other Dutch person. And luckily, we're now at the point that everybody understands it's great if you can be bicultural. And so we really wanted to make a movie that shows how Yassmine and her friends and her future husband, you can be Dutch and you can be Moroccan at the same time. And that can be hard sometimes. People at work don't always understand what the traditions at home are, and your parents at home may not always support you in the things they expect from you at work. And for Yassmine, it's tough to keep all those balls juggling in the air and do it right. But we wanted to show that it is great if you can embrace being bicultural and take the best from both worlds.
Exactly, and I think you show it very well. But so you say the society has changed, and now they might even feel it is a plus to have citizens who can pass on from this culture to the other culture, and help the others understand better other people, other countries, other. So that's very nice. I think timing maybe to also pinpoint that this is where we are now today in the country, and this is how it works, and also very positively, because we hear so many negative things about these shared identities, or shared sometimes nationalities that you know, with a lot of negative problems, but you chose to speak mainly about very very positive attitudes and problems, and because it is also because it is a romantic comedy, but also because maybe it's a choice that you've made, and luckily I think it will be very satisfying to everyone. I mean, I suppose, you know, I understand your film coming out was quite successful the first week. I think I got this message through the mail, and which means that not I suppose many people went to see it. Not.
Yeah, we're hoping to get an award this coming weekend. It's called the Golden Film, and that means we'll have sold 100,000 tickets. So it's the movie does well in the theaters, which
that's great.
Which is wonderful.
So they give you a prize in Holland when you go beyond certain numbers. Yes. That's very nice. You also, it wasn't called also the actors. We saw so many actors, Moroccan, originally from Morocco, I suppose, but they're are they actors? Are they professional actors? All those?
They all are, yes. Yassmine, who plays the lead part, went to theater school for 4 years. When she started in theater school when she was 20. And every Moroccan actor, Dutch Moroccan actor that you've seen is a professional actor. and luckily a lot of productions and theater productions have been made the last 10 years with good parts for Dutch Moroccan actors.
Oh, okay.
There's a crime series here on streaming video television, and it's called Mokro Mafia, and that Mokro Mafia deals with drugs and with families in organized crime. A total different genre than this, but it does bring us good actors. And most people in this country know Walid, who plays the car mechanic, as a bad guy. And this is the first time most people see him as the romantic lead.
And handsome and romantic. Well, that's very interesting. So in the cinema world in Holland, you have now more people originally from Morocco who now start to be seen and work in the industry.
That's right. Yeah, and most when we talk Dutch Moroccan, and by the age of 30, most actors around 30 are born in the Netherlands, and their parents are from Morocco, but they're completely bilingual because they speak Arab, and sometimes I think it's called
Amazigh. Many of them are from the Rif, from the northern part of Morocco. So it's Amazigh from the Rif. Yeah,
I see.
That's very interesting. Then to this film, I was almost going to tell the audience this is a Moroccan Dutch film, because I was shocked to see that because the actors, they chose to have so many actors, but then it was also the way it was filmed is also very close to the kind of parties we have, and these close-ups, and it really showed how Moroccan parties very loud, very where people kind of look at what the other is doing and what did she bring, and a little gossiping also going on, and all that. It's really close to things we see in our weddings here in Morocco. So congratulations for all that work.
Thank you.
You said in the beginning you are an experienced director. How many films, feature films, have you done?
18.
18. Well, then you're very experienced film director. And of these 18, how many are comedies?
I'd say 12.
Wow. So you're a comedy expert.
I try to be. Yes, I think it's good to specialize, and I love making comedies.
Great. Well, we love having people who love making comedies because we are a festival where we try to be a platform for not only the films, but also for people who are interested by this genre and who invest their time, their talent in that genre. And hopefully will be at one point strong enough to be able to bring also these people during the festival, so that they meet and they interact, and then we can have a good comedy festival at the international level that can be a reference. That'd and we see there is an opportunity for that, but we need to work even harder to to be able to have the means to do these things, because comedy is kind of underrated in most festivals, and but comedy people need to fight back. I mean, nothing is written in marble. It's just a matter of getting to the point where this platform can be set so that it exposes, because there is a lot of talent in comedy films. There is beautiful cinematography. It's really up to the level of the best cinema in many cases. So why not have that recognition and you know, we always wonder. But I think one has to work towards that more than wonder, you know. But as a director who's done already 12 comedy films, what draws you toward this language, cinema language, which is comedy, and where do you feel it gives you more creative freedom, or it gives you more space to say things, or how to say things? And
I think you've already answered it, because indeed it gives a lot of freedom. I once made a historic film set in 1910, and you're always worried, like, is this historically correct? Did people dress like that at the time? Did people talk like that at the time? Then when you say, oh, let's film over there, then the art department will say, no, you can't show, there's a modern car there. Okay, so we'll film it here. And you cannot improvise, because you don't have the liberty of really knowing what 1910 was all about. And in comedy, you do have those liberties. And I greatly enjoy working on set. I love having an excellent script, but I also love giving actors the freedom to ad-lib lines. And for instance, in Yassmine's wedding, you see Nabil, and he improvised the scene behind the piano. He improvised a lot of his lines, because he's also a comedian in the theater. I love working like that.
Was he actually playing? He's a piano player.
He is a piano player. Yes.
Okay. Well, yeah, it was a nice scene. I mean, the Bellamy that you had there in that movie. But he had some very nice sides of it, and then he had some sides that that were kind of shocking even. But,
it's always fun to balance. If you make a comedy about choosing between two guys or two girls, it should not be easy. It shouldn't be easy that one is boring and the other one is great. Step by step, you have to develop
exactly, because otherwise it's people can figure out. But at the same time, people need to crave for one. We want her to end up with this guy, but it should be very difficult to happen, I suppose. I myself, I'm a director, and I try to write comedies, and they're very, very difficult to write because of all these rules, these very subtle rules, because it's not just writing things that are funny. It's maybe funny, but at the same time putting the audience with you, with the couple. You're trying to make a couple, and you're trying to have the audience be with you in that that journey, and it's not easy.
It's never easy, because if you want to try too hard to be funny, it's unbelievable. Then we don't believe the character anymore.
Exactly. And slapstick funny is not popular anymore, so one has to find other ways to be.
I know slapstick is not preferred anymore, but here in the theater, the biggest laugh is a slapstick joke with a chicken. I'm not going to spoil it for the people who have not seen the film, but you know what scene I mean, where she has to try and cook, and there's a lot of slapstick in there, and that was a really big laugh.
No, it's funny because a lot of people, you made a very good point there. What I saw in some films that were very, very popular is that they would use slapstick only for certain characters, so that they can, for example, Hitch, so that you could have your intellectual, very nice comedy, but at the same time, you need to have a release of that kind of, because you still have a lot of people who like to see people doing funny moves, doing really funny things with their body, and it's you provide both words,
that's always great if you can succeed in that.
But so it's nice that you dedicate most of your filming work to comedy, and hopefully you'll be submitting in the future maybe some other film in Rabat-Comedy once we grow bigger, and then you could maybe come to visit us. Let me ask you also about the main actress. The main actress, you said she's done theater school, and she seemed also to have a lot of mastery of interpretation. But how experienced is she?
Well, most of her experience comes from the theater. She also does Greek tragedies. She's done Shakespeare. So she, like you noticed, she's very good in interpreting what her lines are about. And I saw her in a theater performance called Milk and Dates, the Moroccan tradition. And then I noticed that the way she uses her body language, she can be really funny. So that's why I really wanted her to play this part.
Yeah, so you had her. Basically you the process. Because you probably casted people, and then what was your process to find the right?
First, we spend a lot of time finding our Yassmine, and once we knew it has to be Sumaya, then we started casting the guys and the friends and the family.
Okay.
And Sumaya was with us every step of the way. So she was a woman who could try 30 men.
Yeah. So that's a nice way also maybe of doing it. You start with what the main actor you want, and then everything else should fit that choice. So that you create a certain harmony in those choices. Yeah, that's very interesting. And also, this is a movie where didn't that bother you, or doesn't it bother the public? It's a film where people speak two languages, they shift without telling you at when they will shift to Arabic and then go back to Dutch, and that's a risky choice also in general for movies. But doing community film, it's difficult not to do it, not to mix the languages.
Yeah, it was risky. In Dutch theaters, the Moroccan part, the Arabic parts are subtitled for the traditional Dutch audience. But we talked about this for a long time, and I first wanted to have Yassmine's family speak Dutch at home, because I thought that would make the movie much easier for a Dutch audience. But it was Mina who said, Johan, it's nonsense. Moroccan families speak Arabic at home. And if you have them speak Dutch at home, no Moroccan family will believe you.
Yeah, I know it's a difficult choice, and even here in Morocco we have a lot of difficulty when we need to mix two languages in the same film, and for some reason it's a difficult choice, but one has to do it to stay to be also have some kind of realistic word.
But it's tough, because sometimes you make a comedy. I made a comedy called In Love on Ibiza, about people who go on holiday to Ibiza with all the idiocracy, with all the big clubs and the expensive food. And there's not a word of Spanish in that movie. Everything is Dutch. They meet Dutch people. They go to Dutch restaurants, because sometimes in comedy it works better in your own language.
Yeah, in your own language. Yeah, and this was a comedy made basically for the Dutch market, but then when it went to other countries, it was subtitled or dubbed or something. Yeah. Well, it's more coherent when you do it that way, and one can believe it because it's Ibiza. We say, oh, Ibiza people.
Yeah.
Yeah, but as you say, if you go to some parts of the city where you have only Chinese people, then normally you should hear little Chinese. You know, they can't be just speaking the Deutsch all of them. Yeah, so that's interesting. What was the biggest for you challenge in this film in terms of making this film?
Well, it's always about balance, and like in this film, from the very early start, everybody tells Yassmine it's time to get married.
Yeah.
Now, you could make the people around her real nasty people. We could make her father a real nasty man who say you have to get married. But we also wanted him to be a warm family man.
Yeah.
But also keep the pressure on Yassmine. So finding that balance wasn't easy.
Yeah. So that exactly. Because it is a comedy, and you can't really put the pressure that dramatizes the story up to the point where we'll see someone cry, or at least not for reasons like that. I suppose. That's interesting. So, what are your future projects now that you've done this? This nice movie, which I hope will come to Morocco. I hope, in movie theaters. I hope you'll be able to have it in the movie theaters. It will be in our festival.
That would be great. Yeah.
But what are your future plans?
Well, it's mostly comedy, and I'm working on a film now that's about two grandmothers, and their family has only one grandchild, and the little girl is 4, but the grandmothers want to be the best grandmother in the world. So they're trying to, if one brings home a present, the other will bring a bigger present.
Okay, some kind of competition for attention, and that's a nice comedy situation. If you can build on that, and that's nice. Do you write usually your own scripts?
No. There's 3 writers, 2 women, 1 man that I really like working with, and they're very good at setting scenes and dialogues. I am involved in the very first situation, but they really work it out.
You mean as a writing group, or?
No, not really as a group. Every one of the 3 works on an individual project. But we do sometimes read each other's scripts and help each other improving it.
Okay, so it's a collaboration with different people, but at the same time you exchange, and then that's very, very interesting. How does your comedy work travel outside of
very little, I must admit. Drama films.
In terms of audience, in terms of, do you feel comedy is little limited by boundaries, national boundaries?
Yeah, I think comedy is more limited than drama, because in drama, if you watch a film from a country far away, it's okay to ponder and think, oh, what is the situation? What does that mean in that culture? So you get time to think. In comedy, you sort of have to set the stage where the whole audience understands what's going on, and then when we don't have to think anymore, we can start to laugh. If things are too complicated, you can't laugh because you're still puzzling. So that's why, and I don't know what your experience is in doing remakes. Sometimes you see somebody else's comedy and you think,
I see what you're saying. I mean, but also how, and this is more of a question of certain kind of jokes and are culturally maybe not motivated, but you need to have a certain culture to find what's laughable maybe about a situation, a given situation. And therefore, if it's something very, very local, obviously, you know, you might think, okay, but I think they meant it's funny because you will see something happen, you will see some reaction, and the reaction could be funny, but you wouldn't understand how did they get there. It's like when you it's always nice to watch a movie without having to read the subtitles, because when you read the subtitle you miss a few images anyway. And those images, you know, somebody who doesn't read subtitles doesn't miss them, so something is lost a little bit. Is lost.
And it was fun with this movie, showing it to in a big theater with a traditional Dutch audience and a Moroccan Dutch audience, because there would be different laughs in different moments. There's a joke about the jalaba that the father makes that the Dutch audience didn't understand, and then there's something else that other people thought was really funny. So.
It's this is interesting also what you're saying, that how if you put two audiences, well, differently, culturally different, how they would react, and what tweaks them here is it would be different.
I would love to be in the theater in Rabat and listen to what your audience responds.
We'll tape it for you.
Oh, that'd be great.
So that you know where the laughs came out, and well, thank you so much. Thank you for your time, and I don't want to take too much of your time. Thank you for being with us today, and I wish luck to your film in this competition, and we wish that we hope that you'll be able to come to Morocco now that you've been to Morocco, because you went to Chefchaouen. So you already know Chefchaouen, but you know, it would be nice to maybe make some other movie in Morocco. We receive a lot of
big industry
from different countries, so hopefully we'll get to see you in our festival in the coming years. If you have a film come in, a comedy come in, please submit it. And thank you so much, Johan, for your time, and I wish you the best.
Thank you very much. It was great talking to you.
Bye-bye now. Take care.
Bye.